And now, please welcome to the stage two of Minnesota's own, Attorney General Keith Ellison and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan.
Oh, Minnesota! I'm so grateful to see all of you. Bonjour. Peggy Flanagan and Dishnakaz, Gijuebada McCoy Indigo, Guabaga and Cogdendun Jaba, Mayenga Nodame. My name is Peggy Flanagan. My Ojibwe name is Speaks in a Loud and Clear Voice Woman. I'm a member of the White Earth Nation, and my family is the Wolf Clan. And the role of our clan is to ensure that we leave no one behind. And that's one of the reasons why I am so proud to be a Minnesotan. You have been showing the world with your own loud and clear voices what it means to leave no one behind. You know, I grew up on the margins. My mom needed food stamps, childcare assistance, and Medicaid to afford it all. I am the descendant of Native people who have lived here since time immemorial, who were pushed from their homes onto the White Earth Reservation. And I am the great-granddaughter of a young girl who traveled here from Ireland at the age of 15. She sailed to this country with her younger siblings that she was responsible for. And that is my story, and everyone here has a story in how you got here today. For generations, powerful people have tried to silence us. And there are so many reasons why we shouldn't be here, why we shouldn't exist. But we are here because we are resilient. And friends, Donald Trump thinks we should just shut up and do what we're told. But that has never worked for me, and that will never work for you. Donald Trump underestimated Minnesotans. He thought that we would back down. He thought we would get tired, that we would turn on each other, but we turned towards each other. He underestimated the power of educators, servers, construction workers, nurses, poets, and moms, and people working together. And no one asked to be on the front lines, but Minnesotans stepped up, and everyday people showed us how to be incredible just by caring about each other. And you are here today because you understand the whole point of No Kings. When federal agents kill our neighbors in the streets, when cowards vote to steal healthcare and food off the table, and billionaires rip off everyday people, and wannabe dictators start illegal wars, we will not be silent. This mass of humanity, of community, this movement in front of me shows the world that we are not powerless. Friends, we are the power, and we've decided that we will help our neighbor and we will welcome the stranger. This movement is for everybody who knows that this president has gone too far. Because if you come for one of us, you come for all of us. And Minnesotans, we are carrying a lot right now. Grief, anger, the weight of what has been done to our communities, done to our children, to our babies, and the heaviness of the lives that have been taken. Renee Good should be alive. Alex Preddy should be alive. We say their names, we honor their memories, and we turn our grief into action. Because the work is not done and the crisis is not over. And some of us will never be whole again. But here's the deal, friends. We all know that famous quote from Senator Paul Wellstone, which is, and say it with me, "We all do better when we all do better." It is the unofficial slogan of Minnesota. But my favorite quote from Paul Wellstone is, "Sometimes you gotta pick a fight to win one." Because there are some fights that are worth picking. And for me, my purpose is clear. No matter what I do from here on out, I am fighting to avenge Minnesota. I am fighting to bring justice to our people. Because with this president, there's always plenty of money for ICE, for bombs, and for the oligarchs, just not for you. But they awakened in Minnesota a power that doesn't even exist in Washington, D.C. It exists within each one of us. We're fighting for a future where one job is enough to afford the lives people want to live. We are fighting for where healthcare is a human right, not something that puts you into debt. Where everyone is treated with dignity, no matter who you are or where you come from or what you look like. Where the Constitution still matters, where we don't strip due process away from our immigrant neighbors. And we know that it takes all of us. I am grateful for the work of Senators Klobuchar and Smith for what they have done to push back, and for the work that every person here has done every single day to show the way. And let me close by telling you about my church in North Minneapolis. It is a beautiful parish that looks like Minnesota. It's been pretty empty these last few months because people have been afraid to leave their homes. They've been afraid to worship. But last Sunday, the pews were full. Kids were laughing and crying and singing even when it wasn't time to sing. It was a wonderful, beautiful noise. It was the song of resilience because we are still here. And I want you to feel that resiliency in your bones. I want you to take a minute and I want you to look at each other. Like really look at each other. Because we deserve better. We have everything we need to build the future that we want. We are what we need to build the future. And we are going to keep fighting until we get it. And I am honored and humbled to be your lieutenant governor. But more than anything, friends, I am grateful to be your neighbor. And I love you, Minnesota. I love us. Gitchi Miigwech, thank you so much. And I'm going to hand it over to my brother, Attorney General Keith Ellison.
You always make me so proud. Hey, Minnesota, let me hear you. You know, brothers and sisters, last time I was here with you, right here, was June 14th. And it was hot outside. And earlier that morning, we had lost our beloved sister, Melissa Hortman, and her husband, Mark. And I just want to let you know that that loss has remained with me. I'm sure it's remained with you. And at this time, we also have to remember Renee Good, Alex Preddy. But I want you to keep in your heart and your prayers Victor Manuel Diaz, who died in custody. I want you to think about Liam Conejo Ramos. I want you to think about a young man named Julio Sosa Solis, who did not die but was shot. And I want you to think about all of us and the price that we paid in order to kick ISIS ass out of our state. And the lesson is very simple, friends. Freedom ain't free, and some of us have to pay the dearest cost for the sake of freedom. And we don't want them to pay it. We wish they would never have to pay it, but you can only get rid of tyrants, and you can only defeat tyranny if your love of freedom is so great that you will risk what you have to for your neighbors. That is what it is to me, a free society. That's what it means to live free, to be willing to go to the mat, go to the wall for the people you love and care about. But I want you to know, as your Minnesota Attorney General, that justice is not optional. Accountability is coming. And the names of our neighbors and loved ones will never be forgotten. You might have noticed that me and Moriarty had to file a lawsuit last week. We're suing the federal government to make sure they give us the rest of the damn file. We're not going to let them hang on to the file, say they're not going to investigate, and that's it. It ain't it by a far sight. And I want you to know that we will never back down, that we will never quit. You know, friends, I was in Alabama on March 7th with about 100 other Minnesotans, and we went down to Selma, Alabama, because in 1965, that is where inspiration lived. People of all colors and cultures came there, and they've been coming there ever since, because brave Americans stood up for the right for all Americans to vote. And by that August, we passed the Voting Rights Act, and that by that October, we passed the immigration bill that allowed people to come to America who were not from Northern Europe. Did you know that? So we call it Bloody Sunday, and people were injured, and some people like Viola Liuzzo and Reverend James Reeb didn't survive that interchange. They didn't make it. Thugs and killers and racists killed them. But we still fought for everybody to vote, right to vote, and everybody's right to come to America. And we won those rights. And now, friends, all of those rights are under attack right now. Every right we fought and won is under attack right now. And in Alabama, those people, when I told them I was from Minnesota, I proudly said, I'm from Minnesota. They all applauded. Not for me, but for you. Because in 2026, inspiration lives in Minnesota. If you want to stand up for justice, if you want to be inspired by the noblest and best ideals of all humanity, you got to come to Minnesota. You might have to stop and spend time at the memorial of Alex Preddy on East Street on Nicollet. You might have to go over to Portland to the memorial for our dear beloved sister Renee. But Minnesota, the world looks to you and is inspired by you because of your love and commitment for each other and this country and the principles that hold it up. You are so honored that the JFK Award for Profiles in Courage, well, you won that award. Did you know that? Now, they even nominated you for a Nobel Peace Prize, which is more than I can say for certain people I know. But the fact is that you are an inspiration. You are where people come to get inspired. And I want to just thank all of our out-of-town guests who came. Bernie, you know what I'm saying? Joan Baez, Jane Fonda, all the, Tom Morello, all these amazing labor leaders who've come here. They come here because they know where inspiration lives in 2026, and it lives right here with you. Now, beloved, let me tell you, right now, we got a few more months until there's a national election, and Trump is scared to death. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. Hell, you know who to vote for. Vote for the people who vote for your family. Vote for people who don't kill your neighbors. Vote for people who don't throw your neighbors in detention. Vote for people who don't raise taxes on you and drive up your prices. Vote for people who don't start foreign wars after they promise not to. You know what to do, but what you got to do is to do it. We've got to have the largest turnout the history this state has ever known. And we're the #1 turnout state in the country already. But we've got to convert this great energy into electoral success. The bottom line is there's a lot of ways to push back on a tyrant. One of them is to sue him. I do it all the time, did it 57 times. Another way is to do street activism, protest, demonstration. Another one is art, but another one is voting. And please don't discount that one. That one will be important. We got, in part, we got into this mess because of an election, and we're going to help get ourselves out of it through an election. Now, let me wrap up by saying that we've got to be real clear. It wasn't just the election that got us here. It was a set of decisions made over the course of the last many decades where some leaders in both parties, my friends, did not put the working class people of America first. And we have got to say that we absolutely demand free and fair elections and will stand for them. We got to demand leaders who will stand up for our democracy. We got to demand to keep dark money out of these elections. We have got to demand that these giant companies that love to merge with each other also they can screw us out of our money get stopped. We got to stop this merger mania. We have got to demand a free and a fair economy. We've got to get collective bargaining going again. We've got to raise the minimum wage. We got to have universal single-payer health care for all, because it won't do just to get rid of one bad guy and then 4 years later get another one, because we haven't done what we needed to do to solidify shared prosperity in America. So, beloved, let me just say as I wrap up, on behalf of me and my dear sister, Peggy Flanagan, love this lady. She is the best. Give it up for Peggy, y'all. I want us to think about a new birth of freedom for this country. I want us to look past Trump and into the society that we dream about, where we have prosperity, peace for all in this time. God bless everybody.
We have just heard from a number of high-profile politicians, activists, and artists at the main flagship No Kings rally, still, of course, underway, as you can see, at the Minnesota State Capitol. And that includes Representative Ilhan Omar, Senator Bernie Sanders, Governor Tim Walz, Bruce Springsteen, and Jane Fonda, who read a statement from Becca Good, who is the widow of Renee Good, calling for, quote, radical kindness. We do have crews on the ground with the latest on today's demonstrations, and we hope to see you right here at 5 o'clock, both on air and here on the stream. See you then.